there, fellow trailblazers. Welcome back to Insights by Outside X, a one-stop shop for all things IPM here at DOMS NALSAR. So today we have with us two of my very favorite seniors, talking about the social life here at campus, how to navigate a college, how to live their experiences. We have Vishruth and Prateek from the batch of 2026. Both have been heavily involved in a lot of social aspects that go around to making a campus vibrant. In fact, Vishruth has been involved with the Student Bar Council. He has done a lot of volunteer work with the NALSAR Dogs Volunteer Group and has also helped teach underprivileged students from in and around Shamirpet. And on the other end, we have Prateek. He has in fact lived in 5 campuses throughout his entire life, has been part of organizing committees of almost all big fests that happen here and events that any campus sees, and has in fact both of these guys had in fact together run a beverage stall for the Trilaterals, which is a sports fest that we have here at NALSAR, and they generated a revenue of 60,000 while running that stall. So thank you so much guys for agreeing to do this and talking about what it takes to have a good social life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Great pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Also, for those who don't know, in fact, Vishruth was the first class representative of the IPM batch, the first and the longest ever to be, and in my opinion, but I'm sure a lot of people would agree that he did that job very gracefully. So talk to us. Why that choice did you make in the first place, and how was that experience like? Talk to me about that.
There wasn't essentially a particular reasoning behind. I was just first year, I had just come in, it was a week into the program.
Right.
I didn't have an entire reasoning behind why I wanted to do what. I was like, it's an opportunity, and I am normally an extroverted guy. I thought I'd do well with people, and I went ahead with it. God, did I know what all it would come along with? Maybe I would have made a different choice, but honestly, I don't regret making the choice that I did, because I don't recognize the person I was a couple of years ago before taking up the post.
Okay.
It has changed me so much in so many good ways. To be very honest, it has gotten so much, so to say, maturity, character development, personality, and all of that. It was a process, and it was a good one.
I'm glad that when I came to you to ask whether to do this job, to take up this job or not, I think you really said some very profound things that really resonated with me. And even I agree, it's not about regretting, it's about learning as much as you can.
Absolutely.
And from a third perspective, Prateek, rate him. That sounds like that. How was it? And any pointer for him that he could have done better?
Yeah, actually, to be honest, I'm very happy with how Vishruth was as a CR.
Right.
So when I was online,
Right.
so I think Vishruth would know really well. I never interacted with anyone much.
Right.
So he was my go-to man. Whenever group नहीं मिल रहा है मेरे को, या फिर ये काम क्या है, faculty ने बताया क्या है class में, so I'd always approach him.
Right.
So that way I was really happy with the way he's performed as a CR. I couldn't have asked for anything much better than what he's actually done. I'm really glad he was my CR and helped me out a lot.
Thank you. And that's such a nice thing to say. Take that as a compliment.
Absolutely, yeah. He should take it.
So Prateek, you have lived through a lot of campus lives, and then
Yes.
when you came here as well, NALSAR also has a very distinct social life associated to it. You were part of a lot of fests. So what has been your experience like, especially maybe Trilaterals, running that stall as well? What was that like for you?
When I first came to NALSAR, so the campuses which I generally grew up in, are huge. But then NALSAR is also huge in its own way. The diversity of people which I found here is unparalleled actually. I've seen people from all corners. And coming to Trilaterals, so Trilaterals is actually the 3-day sporting event which takes place at all the top 3 NLUs. So this time it was NALSAR's turn to host it. So it has participation from NLS Bangalore and WB NUGS Calcutta. So I was initially asked to scout and search for stalls which would probably set up the trucks or set up eateries on campus for the participants to eat from. Like while I was doing that, so I came. We initially wanted a beverage stall also to be on present,
Right.
but then what happened was we couldn't find anybody. But then me and a couple of other friends, so we had this idea: why not do it ourselves? So fun fact: the stall was not actually run by me alone. So it was a collective effort. A huge shout out to all my friends. Vishruth being one of them, Mitra, Harsh, and Gitansh being the others. So what we initially planned was we'd actually thought of getting someone else to run the stall, but then when we thought of it again, we thought why not do it ourselves? So we watched YouTube videos, how to make mocktails, not cocktails. Then finding the right balances of the syrups, the soda, sourcing the right vendors, keeping track of the ice, keeping track of all the transactions that are happening, and then asking people to try it out just for the sake of it. यार बस एक बार try कर लो please, कुछ रखा नहीं है इसमें, बस try कर लो एक बार. It was a great experience. We generated 60,000 in revenue just from our stall, and then apart from that, we had other stalls also which were sourced. They paid rent, so it was a field day for the entire OC. So I think probably it's the first time any organizing committee of any fest at NALSAR, earned so much money from food stalls alone. And I'm really glad to be a part of it and have contributed to it.
And I think this is such a B-school thing to also do
And
and
absolutely.
learn. I mean, generating money, making the best out of it. If not, what we'll make it entrepreneurial and we'll do our
Exactly.
own thing. And so I think that is such a beautiful thing. I mean, I was part of the customers and I give it a big thumbs up. And if you guys plan on doing it again, I'll market it for you guys.
Definitely.
So also about these kind of this was trilateral, the sports fest essentially. So I mean, also both of you guys in fact have been part of cultural fests. You have been part of East Fest.
Yes.
You have been part of Southie and the other big fests as well. So how different? I mean, have you experienced that before? Also in campus lives that you had previously been in. I mean, how was it different? Also?
See, how I'd like to see it is each fest is different in its own way.
Okay.
So, for example, the campus which I've grown up in, I've seen it from a different perspective. So, I've seen and witnessed fests as a resident of a campus. I've never been directly involved in the planning process of it. So, coming here at NALSAR and then being a part of the organizing committee has been a whole new, different experience. It's great. Talking to different people. That's where I believe you should always look out to expand your horizons, connect with new people, network. It's the one thing which I always advise B school students to do: meet up with new people, talk to new people, build connections. You never know, कोई किसी दिन काम आ सकता है बाद में.
That is very true. And apart from these cultural aspects that are part of your social life here, I mean, and it's like social life also plays an integral part of who you are as a B school student. And then there comes things like volunteering, which is another aspect altogether. And Vishruth, you have been heavily involved in this, and you've been part of the NALSAR dog volunteer group. I mean, how has it been? Why did you involve yourself? And you are a dog person, and I've seen your eyes lit up whenever some dog arrives and you catch hold of him. I mean, talk to me about that experience.
So dogs, to me at least, I'll be honest, have been the purest of souls I've come across in life. I've met a bunch of people. I've gotten love from, extremely grateful for all the love that I've received from a lot of people here on campus, elsewhere as well. But dogs are something that I've been attached to from childhood itself. I've had multiple pets in my life. I have like 2 cats and a dog at home right now that my mom has replaced me with. But yeah, animals have been an integral part of who I am and what my personality is. And here on campus, we have an opportunity where the admin is supporting us in establishing an institutional feeding system to fund us, essentially provide food for the dogs.
Okay.
And the purpose of us being in the volunteer group is to essentially navigate or mediate the animal-human conflict that exists on campus, which is common for any living space for that matter. So we try to do well by the dogs, do justice to them, and at the same time make sure that they're not hurting anybody and anybody's not hurting them. That both the parties' rights are protected and they're living a harmonious life, and dogs are an integral part of campus life. You're having a bad day, you don't have anybody to go to, you go on the road, there'll be 2 dogs that'll come to you, wagging their tail, just jumping on you, just making you smile along the way. Maybe just for like 2 minutes, but you'll still smile. That's an important part of such a of campuses like this where there is so much going on.
Right.
There's so much stress happening.
Right.
Dogs are important, and we strive to make sure that they live a life that they deserve to live, essentially. Yeah.
That is such a beautiful way to put it all. And I mean, also, I mean, apart from your volunteer work with dogs, I mean, you have been also helping children in and around Shamirpet, who underprivileged children, teaching them. How did you come across this opportunity? And if anybody also wishes to contribute in some capacity, what do you want to
So it was not something that I did entrepreneurially or something like by myself or anything. It was just an opportunity that I'd come across, that some of the workers' kids had exams around the corner.
Okay.
They didn't have schooling proper. So we were just asked out to help, and me knowing Telugu proficiently, I was like, chalo theek hai, I'll help out.
Yeah.
So I went there, and turns out I have a knack for it. So I've been around educational institutions all my life. My dad is a teacher, and I've always lived in educational campuses, Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya. So it's always been about teaching for me. I mean, I open the door, there's students out. I close the door, there's students inside talking with dad. So it's always about studies and everything, and it's been a nice time.
Right.
So when I had an opportunity to do something about it, and I essentially went forward and tried doing it, actually felt nice. So I was like, okay, if I can do and at the same time help somebody out in whatever way I can, what's wrong with it? Let's just do it. So that's how I've become involved in multiple things. We're starting multiple things outside campus as well, which haven't begun yet, but they're going to start soon.
Looking forward to that. And I think Vishruth, about that educational life, I think Prateek, you can also relate there, right?
Absolutely. So the only difference which me and Vishruth have is Vishruth has grown up around school students. I grew up around college students. That's the only difference. Otherwise, all I have seen is students, and all Vishruth has seen is students.
So yeah, I think even I can relate, though I have not lived in campus, but both my parents are professors, and I did not know that we had all that common within the three
So
of
all
us.
three of us have that in common.
Exactly.
Students are common. We are students, and students are common to us.
Exactly, and so I think also I got to know, Prateek, that you do a lot of quiz competitions, a lot of case competitions, and recently you went to Warangal with a contingent of the students, and how was that experience? I want to know.
So Warangal was a great experience. It was one of a kind experience. So it was the first time that I actually attended an offline college event.
Okay.
So in a dedicated manner. So earlier, most events which we had been participating in due to COVID primarily were online. So Warangal was the first chance that all our contingent got to go to campus and witness the fest in its spirit. So I was part of the quizzing team, and we also participated in the operations and supply chain management case study.
Okay.
So it was a great experience, a learning experience. We didn't win, but still it was a great experience for us.
I mean, that's really nice. I mean, I also want to go. I mean, it must have been such a great way to build sort of camaraderie and an experience traveling.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, I want to know also. I got to know, Prateek, that you are a multilingual individual,
Yes.
and so that essentially brings in an entirely new perspective when you communicate with the people and when you talk to them. So, I mean, how do you feel? What has that role, what that kind of ability has played a role in your life, in the way you interact with people, in the way you navigate social life?
So to be honest, speaking multiple languages is not something which you voluntarily picked up. It was something which involuntarily happened.
Right.
So I've grown up in different places. So wherever I've grown up, so I've picked up the local language more or less. That has allowed me to interact with the people. Look at different perspectives, understand where they come from. Understand what they are trying to say. Then at the same point, the same time, trying to put across what I have to contribute to, and then contribute to a healthy and meaningful discussion is what I'm always looking at. And it feels really great when people approach me by and say that, bhaiya, our language, I would like to share something with you. It's really fulfilling to know that people can approach me and say that I want to share something with you. I can speak to that person in the same language and then reassure them that sab theek ho jayega, ya fir sab badhiya hai, congratulations, ye hai. Especially in campuses like these.
Right. I mean, I think from what I've spoken to you and talked about with you, Vishruth, I mean, you have had suddenly coming to NALSAR with such a diverse group, and you coming from the Telugu community, and how was your experience like with interacting with so many people with so different diverse backgrounds, and also being a class representative as well, so you are put in a position where you have to interact with the people of a lot of communities. So what have you gained from all of this?
So I won't lie, I was scared. I was scared, honestly, because majority of them knowing Hindi and English is a common language, of course, but
Right.
when it comes to informal things, you tend to go to the next comfortable language you have, and Hindi being one of those languages. Though I've had exposure to Hindi, it has always been like exam likho or look at grammar and all of that. It was never fluency. It was never about interacting with people nor getting the slang of things. So when I essentially started talking to people here, I was like, what is happening? Because I didn't understand one single word that they were saying, and it was too fast for me and all of that. But I was put in a position. It was essentially out of my comfort zone. I would say comfort bigger something altogether. So I just learned. I just learned interacting. I just started asking people कि इसका मतलब क्या होता है, ये क्या होता है, ये क्या होता है. And then you talk, you eventually learn. And now though I'm decently fluent, as in like I can talk my way out at least. But it's been a very nice experience. Now after everything that has happened for the past 2 years at least, I can call NALSAR home. That's there. So that's what I've gained.
That's really nice. And you know what, I've always been very curious about this, Vishruth, that I mean, there has been a lot of within the batch that you have interacted, and then there is the interaction that goes outside of the batch with the law community, law side be it, and you know, there have been some sort of strifes here and there. I mean, to smoothen out the edges. I mean, you've gotten to communicate and, you know, bring them also to a negotiating table, and you know, in some capacity or not, harbor unity within a college which comprises with such a huge number of people. So I mean, how do you handle these kind of tense situations when, you know, people might not be ready to listen to you? I mean, how do you go to that point? I mean,
it's not a technique. It's not like you have a procedure as to what you follow. You just go there, try understanding what it's all about. What might be the reasons behind. If somebody's angry, they must have a reason behind it. Justified, not justified, doesn't really matter at that point. All you gotta do is, when they're not ready to listen to you, you listen to them. You sit there, you tell them it's okay, it's fine whatever you're feeling, it's okay, talk to me. And then you listen, and then you listen to the other side as well. And then if there is a point you can bring in between both of them where both of your peace are at peace, you try doing that and ensuring that peace exists, that safety exists between batches is essential to a campus like us, where we have to recite together, all of us being the number that we are. Feeling a sense of security and safeness, like I said, the feeling of home wherein you're like, I can do whatever and I can be at peace, that is essential for any student here to grow in any manner possible. So I've always made it a point for myself and to others, my juniors, whoever have come after that as well, to ensure that the safety of the space exists, that you have a safe space, the campus remains your safe space, to whatever extent I could at least. Yeah.
I mean, that's such a beautiful thing that you've picked up, and you want to take, everybody else there to experience that. Prateek, now that you also have, I mean, you guys have been here, this is your third year, you've been here for the 2 years. I mean, you've interacted with my batch, the junior batch that has come along. How do you find that sense of camaraderie? And you know, how do you interact them? Then what's your thought process? I mean,
see, as Vishruth mentioned, my primary motive is to ensure comfort. The comfort and the sense of security is what is utmost. So you see a junior or you see someone else who's new to campus, you know, like they might be a bit reluctant to talk to you, but you must be, you know, you must exude that, you know, warmth and show that you are there for them. You know, it's a new place, theek hai, but we are also new here to you as you are new to us.
Right.
So, you know, the comfort level must be there. You know, ensure that, you know, everything else is there. You know, talk to them, make them feel fine, safe.
Also, Prateek, you had previously mentioned about, how these kind of trilads, be it that for that matter, where you network and those kind of connections really help you. And,
Exactly.
since there is a law department that's specifically, so how has that aspect of networking been with, I mean, how has that helped you in your personal life as well, and how has cohabiting within a 50-acre campus been like?
So cohabiting has been a really fun experience. Fun fact, networking is what landed my internship at Byju's. So my advice to all juniors and everyone who's watching this video would be to step out of your comfort zone, network, talk to people. डरना नहीं है. There are people after all, And coming back to the point where I'm cohabiting with law students, that's again where your multilingual skills and your networking again comes to the forefront. You see people walking around on campus, you share common spaces, be it the mess, be it the badminton court, be it the basketball court. You should learn to make healthy conversations, ensure that there's this safe and comfortable space where both of you or how many of you are there can share your views and opinions. So that is where you must open up to diversity and embrace this fact that you are living in a multicultural campus which has its set of perks. And probably there might be minor tussles, but then tussles are not should not be relevant to what the entire campus is actually.
Right. I absolutely wholeheartedly agree. I mean, tussles helps you find maybe there are structural issues that exist within while you're interacting in a social space, and those kind of tussles helps you then maybe helps you step out of your shoes and step into somebody else's shoes, empathize with an issue, and then try to sort it out.
You learn to look at things from a different perspective.
Exactly.
And I think also, I mean, I also felt that like when you are in a campus physically, 24/7 you're interacting with people. That can also get exhausting at times, and somebody who is a little shy, who is not really used to interacting with so many people at such a large scale, who has, is hesitant at first. Prateek, what kind of advice would you give to that individual?
The advice which I would give to people would be stand your ground when you know you're right. Don't stand your ground when you know that there's a chance that you might be proven wrong or there is a scope to improve something. So I'm not saying don't stand your ground, always be, don't be a people pleaser, but do stand your ground, have that, confidence, to build up on what you want to say. And then ensure that at the same time that the other person is not offended by what you have to say. Be sensitive to what that person, to that person's beliefs.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, since this is a very diverse people, empathy will get you a lot.
Exactly.
But then again, that doesn't mean that you're gonna put yourself down.
Exactly.
Believe in yourself. I mean, you have lived a life. That means you also come with a lot of, thoughts and opinions. And
exactly.
Listen to the people, but do not demean yourself in that position.
Do not demean yourself and do not demean others. Be receptive to feedback. Yes. Give your own feedback also.
Yes. That is a very good way to put all of this, and I think a lot of people can take that back with them and also and introspect maybe at them as an individual also. I mean, Vishruth, since this is an all-encompassing environment, what is one way that I want to know, how do you decompress at the end of the day? I mean, and that how do you relax, calm yourself down if there is issue that sort of messed with your headspace? I mean, how do you do it?
So there's not one single way that I would point out and be like, this is what I do. Sometimes certain friends are like family to you. They're chosen family. So you go to them, just share what you're going through, or just go for a hug. Or sometimes you just want to sit in your own room within fairy lights on a nice beanbag, just get your own book, just pour yourself a nice cold drink or something like that. Just sit down and just calm yourself along the way. Just read through whatever your favorite is. Just pour yourself a thumbs up or a Fanta or something like that. Just sit down, because beverages are my thing. I like drinking stuff. So you essentially figure out your own way along as to how you deal with certain things. Sometimes I just go out to the lake, just sit there on the rock, just read a book, have music on, something or the other. And campus has enough spaces where you can just go and relax.
And I've heard from a lot of third-party sources. I think Prateek can also vouch for this. That your room is very aesthetic, also. So I mean, that must be also a very good. Place
Circling back to beverages, our love for beverages is what led us to setting up the mojito stall.
Right.
So we have a shared love for beverages. So that is what we go to his room. And कुछ पंगा हो गया, कुछ हो गया, कुछ दिन अच्छा नहीं जा रहा है, दिन अच्छा भी जा रहा है. So we go to Vishruth's room. He has a rolling chair. He has a bean bag. So all of us sit there. He has a speaker system. So we sit there. We listen to music. We talk random stuff. The most random things we talk. Then every day is a new day. बोलते कल अच्छा हो जाएगा. कल देखते जो भी होगा. सो जाते हैं.
Now guys, since it has been a minute and you've been a little older now that you're here, a little bit mature, hopefully.
Hopefully.
No shade, no tea. So I want to know, now that you have essentially gained a lot of experience, what is one thing that you guys would tell yourself, the first year Vishruth or the first year Prateek who came like the fresh to this campus? What one advice that you want to give to that person, Vishruth?
This would be something I'll need to think about, but there isn't one single thing that I would tell the guy. I wouldn't want him to miss out on any experiences that he's gone through so far. I would be like, bro, if you can involve yourself more, do it, because honestly the experience that I've had here so far, I now call my BH home. I don't know if most people on campus do it, but I tell people that I'm going home. Home is my room for me, because it's become that close to my heart, and the experiences I've had have made me into a better person, to be very honest, a better listener per se, and a more empathetic person, a more non-judgmental person, because campus makes you do that. Campus teaches you how to be that. You come from a very orthodox place, at least I come from a very orthodox place, and looking at campus and the way things are, you are a little confused as to how to look at things, how to look at people, how to understand certain things. But then you go through all of that, and then you learn. And then you learn how to be and what's right, what's not, and you grow along the way. So if I was talking to first year Vishruth, I'd be like, go for it. Just do whatever comes to your head, do it.
Just be at it.
Yes.
Yeah. What about you, Prateek? What would
On the lines of what Vishruth said, so what I'd advise any first year or my first year self also for that matter is open up, yaar. The one thing which I probably regret is our first 2 trimesters were online. The online trimesters, I was extremely introverted. I never spoke to anybody, so that's probably one thing which I regret. I've met some great people on campus. I wished I knew them earlier. Probably would have had much greater fun online. Also, you never know.
Yeah.
That's probably one thing which I would advise to anyone who's watching this, and juniors also. One more thing which I do is try everything you can. Yeah, you should step out of your comfort zone. Learn to be open. Be confident. You do something new. Doesn't matter if it goes right or wrong, but it is a sense of accomplishment and achievement that you have tried out something new, and that is what you should take away with yourself. It should be a self-assuring, win for you. I tried something new and I did it. I didn't care anyone else was judging me, but still I did it. That's what I'd want people to do, and I wish I'd also done it earlier. Now I've become more open to participating in events, opening up to new people, talking to new people.
Right.
But then there's probably, in hindsight, that's probably what I would have changed or would have told myself to do.
I think that is true, and I think everybody should realize that there is never an experience that goes to waste. Something or the other you learn, you understand, you learn about yourself in fact, and you try to grow. I mean, you do it unconsciously, subconsciously, or knowingly. You essentially grow, and I think that is what the biggest takeaway I feel is ki socially you might feel that you're struggling at some point in time, but at the end of the day, you find people whom you love here. You start to call this place a home, but be open while you do it, and just keep at it, keep going at it.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. And thank you guys so much for being here. And this episode has been absolutely amazing. I mean, I've just gotten to know you guys a little bit more than I did before, and I think a lot of people here have as well. And you've given them an insight that they could maybe introspect into, and you look and maybe change their perspective and maybe learn something new while they are at it.
Hopefully.
Thank you so much for
having us here. It's been a great experience.
Thank you guys. It's been my day.